We've got mid-morning refreshments, non-human primate preclinical development, unleashing regenerative medicine to extend the healthy lifespan, investors track, manufacturing, processing, and banking. Do we need regulatory pathways for cell therapy product, adipose tissues, neurological applications? Wow, that's only for 11 to 12. The amount of conferences that are going on here is amazing. We're at the 12th World Stem Cell Summit at the Palm Beach County Convention Center in West Palm Beach, Florida. Come out and join us. Any questions? We are live streaming on Facebook at AMP2 TV Productions. We are also live streaming on Boston BioLife on Facebook. And I don't know how many other places they've pushed that out to. We're also on Twitter at AMP2 TV. If you have any questions, you can send it out to Twitter or Facebook on those sites I mentioned. We will get those questions out to anyone that we can between Sarah and Boston BioLife. And we'll go from there. Camera 2. All right, we're on this camera now. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
I've been hearing so much about you. You are the social media guru
I try.
for Boston BioLife. We had Olivia on the other day. I have your book.
Did.
Your book is over there. Let's get your book up here. Fantastic. Thank you.
It's cool. It's a cool thing you guys got going on here.
You like?
I like
this, the automated entrepreneur. Tell me about this. Work less, make more. There you go. That's so not what we do, but okay, let's share that idea.
Yeah, I think, I wrote this book. I'll share sort of a little bit of a backstory. I got into in business probably when I was about 20 years old. I ran a travel company. It was a digital travel company, and I sold that. I got out of that and got into the real estate business, and really was just grinding it out, on a day-to-day basis, and $100,000 in, $100,000 out. I could not make ends meet. I could not take that quantum leap in my business, and 7-8 years went by, and it was the same old thing, and so I started to really try to figure out. I remember I went into I had hired a mentor, and one of the key things that he told me, he says, Bob, you're not in the real estate business. He says, you're in the business of marketing your real estate. And ever since then, it changed my perception on how businesses should be ran.
What about that resonated with you that said, maybe not?
Well, I think because it was the mindset mostly. It was going from somebody that would drive a person in a car from house to house, as opposed to looking at it from the top down and putting people in places where they should be. And so when I started to do that, I started to focus on the marketing aspect of it, and that's really within 18 months. We took that company from literally 100,000 to 50 million in sales in 18 months, because I stepped away from it and I actually started to put people into play and learn the marketing side of things. And ever since then, it didn't matter what I kind of touched. I used the same principles, and it was automation. It was about using technology to service and get leads and convert those leads into patients or customers or clients or whatever it was. And so I use that same philosophy today that I take and work with clinics and
So
physicians.
Automation meaning social media. What does automation mean?
Automation means doing things that don't require your effort. I mean, there's technology out there like MailChimp, or I'll kind of ease it in for this audience. There's an email auto blast or something like that they're called, where you blast 150 or 200,000 people at once, and everybody gets the same message. That's some sort of an email automation. But what I did is I took it to a different level. So, for example, if somebody came onto my website, requested information, I would send them a text message that would go out automatically. I would send them a direct mail piece that would go out automatically. I would send them an email that would go out automatically. And so this goes along the lines of what I talk about in the buyer life cycle, the buying life cycle. And that is, if I was to run an ad today, and you looked at my ad, you would pick up the phone and you would ask some questions, and you may not be ready to do business with me today. And so this is where a lot of people drop it. There's only 3% of the people, the buyers out there, that will actually do business with you by looking at your ad. And so we're always fighting this game of spending more and more money trying to attract business. But what most people don't focus on is the 97% of the business that's out there, and that's where I made.
Because they don't know how to capture the sale. You think, I put it out there, let's see what happens, and then what? You can't. It's so much work to keep chasing those people.
Yes, and especially in the we made the shift about a couple of years ago in the medical space and in the specifically lately in the regenerative medicine, the stem cell business. When we're doing cash-based services and selling $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 services, I mean, nobody's just going to come in and give you 15,000 grand, right? They're going to do their homework. And if you run an ad and they pick up the phone and somebody in your reception is, the first question that they're going to ask is this covered in insurance?
No.
No. How much does it cost? 15 grand. Okay, thank you very much.
Exactly.
Right?
So what do you do with that? Because I can so see that happening in many physicians' offices, and I know who's running the desk at a lot of these offices. They don't care because you know what? They're getting their paycheck. It makes no difference to them.
No, but it's reflective from the top down because the doctor, the physician doesn't care who answers their phone, and this is the wrong mindset to go into it. If you're looking at really making a run or growing your practice, that person, I just spoke downstairs and I talked about this, is the most important thing. That person is your front line.
Yep.
They need to be trained. They need to be brought aware on how to educate patients, on how to not just say, sorry, we don't take insurance, or this, like somebody that's just going to answer the phones. You can find it, many of them, out there. But you need to put the time and effort to train those people.
And do you do that? Your company does that?
Yes, we do.
And what is your company?
Invigo Media. Our company is, we're based out of Vancouver. We have an office in Washington as well. Olivia was here the other day. She talked a little bit about it. We feel that going back and looking at tracking certain, I track and record about thousands of calls a month. And you should see, my face when I listen to these calls.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I'm like, there's 10 grand, like it's just, they're dropping the ball on
money
it.
out.
Yeah, money out.
Money's not even coming in to go out. It's not even coming in.
Yeah. And so, and all these, most of the businesses, and it's not just in the medical industry, it's in every industry that's out there. And so it doesn't matter what business I start, to be honest. I know the principles of it, and I can do it in any, I have multiple businesses that aren't involved in the medical space or in the real estate space or in
what other businesses can you work with? Because we have so many people out there that are in different businesses than medical that you could help.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, the principles are all the same.
So what other businesses could you help?
Get a lead. We work with, I've worked with in the past legal companies. I've worked with weight loss companies. I've worked with furniture companies. I have a percentage in some of them. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The principles are all the same.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. You're getting a person to be interested in your service or product, and how can you create that expert status and create something like this.
The automated entrepreneur. Let me ask you this. If you had someone you worked with that has a database of medical professionals, this is what they do. They just collect data. Mm-hmm. You could probably take that data and run with it.
Absolutely.
So what could you do? Because if we have a client that we work with that just has a database, and he goes, this is what I do.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's data, and then there's data. There's data that you've actually neglected. There's not a whole lot that you can do. You can maybe sort of see if you can spark some interest again with that data. But if there's data that you've actually taken care of and nurtured, and they know, like, and trust you, then there's a lot that you can do. So the data that I have is 10 times better than somebody's 50,000 person list that they've never ever sent a thing to them.
It's the relationships. It's building the relationships. It's face-to-face contact. As someone tells me, it's skin-to-skin. It's the voice.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's very, very similar. Some people say that you're in the digital space. Why aren't you running digital ads all the time? Well, because our business here is the relationship business, and you have to. It's kind of come full circle. Everybody's going digital. As I always share this example. A couple of weeks ago, I go to my mailbox, and there's no mail in there, right? And all I want to do is not get another email. I just want to get somebody sending me a piece of a postcard or a direct mail piece.
Really?
It's coming full circle again.
Isn't that
so
amazing?
It's amazing. And so the digital is not the be all and end all. You really have to run. How we took it from 0 to 50 is running 8, 9, 10 different things.
Well, look at our kids' generation. It's all digital. There is no face-to-face. And I see my kids in their 20s, their mid-20s, and I sent an email, but they didn't answer. I applied for the job, but they didn't answer. And there's just no follow-up. I think the mindset, we have so much technology that everyone becomes so reliant on it that there's no old school thought of the face-to-face relationship.
Yeah, it's
That's a whole seminar that you can create too. See, I just keep creating businesses for people.
There you go.
They just shake their head. I mean, think about that. You go into the 20s, into that whole section of business building. It's the relationship. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
But we've become so automated that they don't.
Right. We one of our main strategies is what we do is we actually FedEx packages out to doctors. So we get them intrigued, responding to something, but then we'll go and we'll take it and we'll FedEx them because we know that they get 100 emails a day. We know that they're getting text messages every single day. And so we'll FedEx this big box of stuff. And it might have this, it might have a whole bunch of things.
Papers.
But who does that?
Right. No one does that.
No one does that. And who is going to sign for it? We want that doctor's signature. And when we know that he's got the signature, the other processes start. The phone calls, the emails, the direct mail pieces, because we know that he's now got our information. It's only a matter of time that he's either going to say, you know what, leave me alone, guys, or hey, let me listen to what you guys have to say. And that's all we want.
It's the constant recognition. Is now your book may be on his desk, and your paper may be at the front desk, and something else, and you're going to see it.
Yeah.
And you're going to see those papers. And
Yeah.
professionals still, as automated as we are, we still use paper.
Yeah. Part of our process is I always talk about creating expert status, and I have a publishing company that we do this. And so when I was building this, like downstairs, people were asking me for a business card. I said, I don't have my business card. This is my business card. And, everybody will throw a business card away. Nobody, it doesn't matter if they don't read it, this will sit on their desk in the back of the shelf, and every single day they walk into the office, it'll be sitting there. And that's the whole process behind that. It costs you $4 to print a book, maybe some sweat equity in building it, but it will...
Or you hire a ghostwriter. There's all ways to do it, right?
Exactly.
And people can find you where?
You
can have his books. He doesn't have a business card, but you can find him somewhere.
If you go to my site, you can go to bobmangat.com, and there's a tab there that says free report, and I'll ship you out a copy of my book. You can go there and grab it free of charge.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you're at Expo. You're downstairs at the exhibit hall.
We're down here, and yeah, it's been a good week.
Fantastic.
Love what you guys are doing here. It's
Thank
awesome.
you. Social media.
Thank
Keep
you very
spreading
much,
it. It was a
John.
pleasure. Thank you, Bob.
Pleasure.